Judd Zulgad, Chip Scoggins. Access Vikings is the show, and Chip, as usual, Brett Favre is the topic. Plenty of Brett Favre news to talk about. On Sunday, ESPN reports that Brett Favre had surgery on his arthroscopic surgery on his right shoulder to repair that bicep. That's big news. Then they report that Brett Favre's not sure he can play yet. And finally, today, Monday, there's a new report that Brad Childress has given Brett Favre a deadline of this week to make a decision. Chip, what do we make of it all?
Yeah, the report that he had the surgery makes sense because it was quiet for a couple weeks, and you sort of got the sense that something was going on behind the scenes. But the fact that there's a report that there's a deadline of this week, it doesn't make a lot of sense because it's going to take 4 to 6 weeks for that arm to heal. So you're not going to know how much he's going to get back until that period. So to set a deadline this week, assuming it's been 2, maybe 3 weeks since he's had the surgery,
right,
his arm's not going to be back 100%. So you're not going to know, is it going to get back to full strength? So that one is a little bit odd that they want to see. The report says they want to see him throw before he signs the contract. Well, you think that would be more in July. You want to see him throw then.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, that's the one thing is the first two reports, Chip, I don't think anybody's surprised that Brett Favre had that surgery. He wanted to avoid surgery at all costs, but it sounds like eventually he decided, or he realized, hey, I've got to have it to be repaired. Then he starts throwing. I mean, if he had the surgery, it was actually very recently, so his arm is still going to hurt. So, that in itself is not surprising, but I just can't see Brad Childress and the Vikings telling him, Brett, we need to know this week. I mean, they're going to wrap up OTAs. That's the thing. I could have seen it a couple weeks ago, or I could have seen it in May saying, we need you here for the minicamp or not. We need you here for OTAs or not. Well, OTAs, they have 4 more this week. The Vikings, those are organized team activities, practices, and then 2 more scheduled for next week, which they very well might cancel. So the fact that now they would tell him that they need a decision is the most surprising thing.
Yeah, because why would you want a decision now? He's not going to get any work with the personnel, so he already knows the offense, so it's not like he needs to get in and do those 2 things, or he's able to. I mean, he's not going to be back 100% if he gets there until early July, maybe mid-July, so you're not going to know how much he has left in that arm if he can get the full strength back until then. So I don't know why you would impose a deadline on him now when it really makes no sense until, maybe mid-July.
And, of course, the key factor here, too, folks, is, it's well known that ESPN has a direct pipeline basically to the Favre camp. This appears to all be coming from Favre, not the Vikings. And that's the one thing to keep in mind. I don't know what the motivation here is, but I don't think that Brad Childress of the Vikings told Chris Mortensen or Ed Werder of ESPN today that they have set this deadline. My guess is this comes from the Favre camp. And the one thing that we have speculated on, Chip, and we have no knowledge of this but have certainly speculated on, is this could come down to actually negotiating a contract for Brett Favre depending on how much he wants to play that one season in Minnesota.
Yeah, and I never got the sense that it was going to be a money issue. I think Brett Favre's, the thing that motivates him is he wants to keep playing. He wants to play on a team that he feels like has a chance to go to the Super Bowl. But, he's still a pro athlete, and at the end of the day, money is a lot of times is a deciding factor, and maybe this could be the issue. Maybe it is a contract situation at this point because they know the desire there. He's had the surgery, so theoretically the arm is going to be okay once they get to training camp. So maybe it is a contract issue too.
And, folks, never rule out cold, hard cash when it comes to professional athletics. For Chip Scoggins, Judd Zulgad, once again, you've been watching Access Vikings, a Brett Favre update. Check back often. Check back StarTribune.com. Check all of our many platforms because you'll be seeing more on a daily basis on Brett Favre. Thanks for watching.